Like Argentina has 2 MLS or 4 MLS players, or actually Rodrigo de Paul now, so 3 in their lineups all the time. It's like, wow, MLS has that type of stamp on it. That's pretty crazy, and they're my pick to go back to back. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of our Sunday League series. Appreciate you all for tuning into these and getting them viral. The last couple of them have gone pretty big with Luz Arriaga, with Alana. We have another amazing one today. Today we're joined by someone we've not only followed for years, but we genuinely consider them a good friend. If you follow soccer in the U.S., you've definitely seen his work, even more if you're in the Bay Area for a while now. He perfectly blends real fan passion with professional insight. He covers everything from MLS to US Soccer to now being a Swiss Army knife, in my opinion, for everything 2026 World Cup.
Yeah.
So let's welcome our good friend, Favian Renkel, to the pod. El Favi.
Hey.
Bienvenido.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming on, man.
No, we've been trying to do this for a while now, so I'm very honored to be on the show, and I'm very honored to finally be here with both of you guys, and that's very sweet of you. I appreciate the nice words. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you for coming on. It's been a while. We've been trying to snag you. We had to get you in. I'm glad it was today more than ever. And yeah, let's cheers and get into it.
Oh yeah. Let's get it. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers. Salud.
Salud. Let's go, you guys. ¿Qué onda, Favi?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm living, bro. How you living?
Yeah, good, man. Good. The World Cup's coming up. Everybody's trying to find their place, so it's exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. You've been doing this for a while. I think we all have, and we understand how big this World Cup's going to be. So finding your spot and finding your grounding before it is huge, because this sport is going to take off in every single which way. I think we've all seen it a little bit already. But yeah, it's going to be exciting, man. I'm excited to see how professional men's soccer grows, but also how the grassroots kind of grow too. And we're seeing that already. We were talking about that before we started. Yeah, crazy stuff coming
Yeah,
up.
I mean, it's a better time. It's the best time ever to really be a footy fan here in the U.S. I mean, we just had NWSL final. You just got back from Vancouver from an amazing West Coast freaking soccer adventure up there. The World Cup coming. Everything is popping off. And we're going to get into all of that on the pod, folks. We're going to go into a little bit about who you are, where you came from, how you got into soccer, what's your passion there, all the way to what you've been up to the past couple of years that we've known you, that we've seen you grow as such a big presence in the footy world, into what you're doing now. What's 2026 going to look like for you? I'm going to ask you for some life hacks, because I need you to tell me how the hell do I get into a damn game. If I don't have a ticket, are we jumping the fence? Or are we doing Copa America style? What are we doing? We'll get into all of that, man. But first and foremost, I need to ask you what we ask everybody on the podcast. ¿A quién le vas? Who are your teams? Ooh. Every league. I need it.
That's tough. Honestly, I'm a pretty big homer when it comes to because I cover MLS so much. So when it's CONCACAF Champions Cup, of course, MLS, because I just want to see that, any team kind of lift it up, because it's so hard for an MLS team to win that championship. I mean, shout out Galaxy and Seattle, but it's tough. It's that's the pinnacle of CONCACAF sports, in my opinion. And I love my league. I make these teams when it's like a Club World Cup, or leave it at the it is. But when it comes to CONCACAF, man, let someone else win,
Yeah, finally.
But yeah, I mean, Uruguay siempre. Para siempre, La Celeste.
Let's go.
My parents are both from Uruguay, so I grew up watching, Uruguay. I grew up watching Suarez cry after the handball, and then
crazy moment, huh?
Yeah, Gian hitting the post, and then Loco Abreu, who I just got to ask a question to, was a pretty cool bucket list thing for me. When he was coaching Tijuana for Leagues Cup.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And that was a really cool question. But yeah, growing up watching La Celeste play how they played, they're not looking too good nowadays. I got people saying, but
we'll get into it. I don't think they're too bad. We'll definitely get into it. So for sure, it sounds like number one is La Selección de Uruguay.
Yeah,
But then I asked you club, and then there's no context what league or anything, and they say, well, who are you a fan of? What would you say?
Yeah,
to a random person.
That's tough, because for me, I'm kind of like James Rodriguez, country over club any day of the week. USA, Mexico, if they do good in World Cups, I'm very happy. They're kind of like my sister clubs, because I always want to see Canada too. I want to see CONCACAF do well and kind of show that we got good soccer here. But yeah, if you want to talk a club, definitely Uruguay through and through. It has to be that national team love because it's just a different level. It's passion. It's why we're all here probably.
For sure.
It's emotion. It's tears. It's happiness. You can convey those emotions much easier into not a soccer fan than a club level. And I think that's kind of what resonates with me when you're following the sport, and what's passionate about the sport is being able to convert non-fans, and the World Cup and club soccer, or excuse me, world soccer is just a different animal in my opinion.
Yeah, and I've seen that like on your Twitter, you put a lot that like your main goal is like convincing non-soccer fans more than like tying in already fans. So we'll definitely get into that. But you don't have club teams then?
I mean, I like Liverpool, but I like them because Suarez was on them.
Oh my God, you're one of those guys. My God. Manchester United because Chicharito's there.
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
But
God. But like I'm not a Man U fan because Ugarte is on there. I'm not a Real fan because Valverde is on there. Yeah. I guess Atletico Madrid I've liked because they've always had love for Uruguay. They've always had Godin. They've had Josema, Forlan.
Yeah.
So Atletico is probably one of those that I'm always like, oh, did they win? I like Griezmann a lot.
But then they got all the Argentinos, bro.
Yeah, nowadays, right?
It's all Argentinos, bro. Goddamn.
Nothing but Argentinos.
Yeah. It was Uruguayos, now it's all Argentinos.
But they got love for South America, so I got to give them. But so does Madrid nowadays. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. But Madrid has a lot of love. And Barca, they got some Uruguayans sometimes, like Suarez, Araujo. So I don't know. I guess I am a national team over club.
Locally, let's break some news. I think most people know, but like, are you still tied to the Quakes? Is that where your heart is, or do you have an MLS team?
I'll be honest with you. I grew up as a Quakes fan. I think my first game was Chivas USA versus the Quakes, and I'm a big guy, so I always remember watching the game, but eating so many tacos beforehand at the carne asada outside that I was, I forgot the game. Like that was the most fun part. We're just playing pickup soccer and eating carne asada, and then we all had to cheer. But I do remember very vividly that it was Chivas USA. Because that was a fun event. But yeah, of course, I mean, I was a season ticket holder the first year the Quakes were out. It's funny. I used to sell tickets because I was, poor college kid. I used to sell the tickets, and then the big games, and then go to all the free ones on Wednesdays.
Let's go. Yeah, for schools. Yeah.
So, or at least like make enough money on the big games where you go for free. So it was kind of like a little trick. Okay, I go to these games for free if I do my job and sell the other ones for the LA games or the first games and things like that. So definitely my heart still is a Quakes fan. But I gotta kind of step away because you
gotta show love to everybody now with what you're doing,
and also you kind of see how the sausage is made sometimes, and how they say don't meet your idols. You know, that could be true with working with them. I mean, they've been great. Don't get me wrong, but seeing behind the curtain and becoming I'll talk about this later, but becoming like a national media rather than just a local media. There's a big difference there. There's a lot of politics going with that because. It's politics. So there's like scare tactics. There's, this and that. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. But a lot of media in the country deal with this. And I don't know if you guys saw a report last couple months ago that Laurel, a Cincinnati kind of reporter, kind of talked about that, where they're kind of silencing her a bit. They're not giving her a chance to ask questions. They don't give her Lucho Acosta when he wants to get out of there. So it happens all around MLS. And it's crazy to think about, but yeah.
Like you said, it's like a don't meet your heroes type of vibe because like you want to get so involved because you love them so much. And then you get really involved. And then the moment that they tell you no, it's going to hurt you a lot. Exactly. Right.
And that happened to me. And I'll be honest with you, that did happen to me where something happened where it was like, we know you're doing something good, but don't do this because it's not good. And then I was like, all right, well, how do I avoid this from happening again? And I think that's what kind of kicked me into gear by going national. Some teams can't say anything to you, or they can't threaten you, or they can't be they can't say something to you if you're like, well, I cover 30 other teams, you know, like it's okay. You want to stop me? Okay. Stop me, you know?
Yeah.
So
No,
it's interesting.
I mean, that is what I'm glad you still show some love to the Quakes, but obviously you have to show love to everybody at a certain point. And yeah, that's where your career is taking you. But in Uruguay, you don't cover Uruguay football. Who's your family's team?
So it's my family split. Actually, I have a son, and we we had this big debate: is he Peñarol or is he Nacional? You know, so I bought him both jerseys. I bought him Valverde's jersey, and I bought him Suarez's jersey, and he wears whatever he wants to wear. You know,
But you're a Peñarol fan now?
yeah, I am technically. Yeah, my dad is a Nacional, my sister's a Nacional, and me and my mom are both Peñarol. Yeah,
split
it's
house.
completely split. Yeah, it's
I've seen you wear that yellow. What is it? Yellow and red, yellow and black.
yellow and black. Yeah. Or my son wears it, and I'm like, oh, you know. Like, but yeah, it's
Any
funny.
signs that he's picking one over the other?
He loves Messi. Yeah, he was rocking his
Miami?
Inter Miami shirt. He had a little walk down. I was like, whoa, dude, you watching a lot of YouTube shorts. You got the Messi walk down. Like, no, get back on defense. What are you
And
doing?
get back on defense. No, that I mean that's killer. I mean the next generation will just go for whatever they want, right? And Messi is the big one right now, so they'll definitely go for him.
Well, YouTube Shorts is actually kind of great. Well, I see it because I have a 5-year-old, right, or almost 5, and YouTube Shorts is a crazy animal when it comes to like younger kids, and Speed has such a chokehold on the kids, and the people that Speed talks about is like going to be the I made it moment for the next generation. So Speed talks about Mbappe, Vini, Messi and Neymar and Ronaldo, and that's all he really talks about. My son can probably name all of those. I do this, and he knows right away it's Mbappe and it's kind of crazy. He's a 4-year-old, you know? So it's weird to see, you know, like the Ballon d'Or not think Mbappe's on it because Mbappe's already that level, you know? But yeah, no, it's crazy. This next generation, social media is such a big driver for this next generation, and I'm even seeing it with my son, and it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. No, this next generation is gonna be a whole different beast. When it comes to footy, I think the landscape is just gonna change, and we'll get more into that how it's been changing. Have you been to Mexico?
I've actually never been to Mexico,
No?
and I need to be because I worked for Lee's Cup. So
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, did you have a go at choosing Chivas or America or like a team?
So this is gonna be a funny story, but you know we live in the Bay Area. There's a lot of Mexican ladies out there. If you say Chivas right away, dude, you got 2 points.
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
It depends. You can get the stray, like the random little America fan, and then it's game over. It's like no.
It depends, right? If they're from Jalisco, you know, it's like, okay. But out in Redwood City, where I'm from, we have a lot of people from Michoacan, and they're because that Morelia is not around anymore. They went to Chivas, right? So it's interesting.
We'll take them.
Yeah. So Chivas, but I had a great time covering Cade when he was in San Jose, and his family always was very nice to me, and he was very respectful, and I really liked that he made the move to Chivas. So that was kind of like, okay, I like Chivas, but America usually has Uruguayans, so I don't know why
they got a couple. Right now. Yeah. They got Rayito, your boy.
The
Cáceres.
Yeah.
And then Aguirre too.
And then Aguirre, Buffalo.
Yeah. So it's funny, but no, there's something about Chivas that is poetry, in my opinion. 2025 is a little bit weird, but they get away with it because they've been doing it for years, and I think it's something. It's really cool to see when Chivas comes to town and they play at Levi's, and you see everybody, wearing Chivas jerseys, even if they don't go for Chivas. Chivas is always your second team, and that's cool to see. I think MLS can learn from that a little bit. I think MLS has a big issue, and I think this is for the future of having that second team. I think everybody's a homer for their own team, and they don't choose a second team. And
within MLS.
Within MLS, yeah. And I think that's a very American sports thing. But in soccer, everybody has two or three teams, and I think MLS can learn from that a little bit.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, who's your second team, Omar?
My second team, Mexico, Cruz Azul.
Yeah, Cruz Azul.
Yeah. So my family's also split.
Yeah.
My mom's side is all Chivas. My dad's side is Cruz Azul.
Oh, wow.
And I was a Cruz Azul fan as a little kid. And then my dad said one day I just came home after spending a lot of time with my uncles on my mom's side. And I was like, I'm a Chivas fan. And that he said that hurt his soul. Like for the rest of my life, he tried his hardest.
Yeah.
And I've just somehow was closed-minded and stuck to it. I was like, I'm a Chivas fan. And to this day, he's like, I hate you. But like now we're about to have his grandkid very soon, and he's like, I'm gonna buy them so much Cruz Azul stuff. He's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna break your heart like you broke my heart.
That's funny.
And so yeah, we'll try to make sure that doesn't happen. Who's your second team?
If I had to choose one,
Chivas.
no, I'd probably choose Pumas.
Oh, Pumas. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Another rival.
It is, but I just love their jerseys. Love Jorge Campos coming out of there, Hugo Sanchez.
Yeah. But you ask an MLS fan from Seattle, what's your second team? What?
Who's your second team?
My second team?
Yeah.
I mean, I it's tough because
Damn, you can't say.
no, I can't. I can, but
No, you
it's
can't.
like, oh, you're a glory hunter, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like,
LAFC. Oh my, get it. You're gonna
Yeah,
open the door.
but-
Hey, open the door for him. Yeah.
No,
but I like, you know, it's tough for me because I cover every team, and I do like a lot of these teams, right? Like, I like ambitious teams. Don't get me wrong. I think being hurt by the Quakes for so many years made me appreciate the Galaxies, the LAFCs, the Miamis, even sometimes Cincinnati's.
What do you say? Right?
But
you
I-
like Galaxy is your number 2?
No, I'm not gonna say it. But I like how they're ambitious and they spend money. I think my whole thing is like, why would I spend my if I was a fan, why would I spend my $35 on watching the Quakes when they can't even spend more than $5 million if it's the same cost to go to the Galaxy game? I guess it's in LA, but $35 for a team that spends over $30 million in transfer window. I'd be pissed. And that's kind of how I grew up being a fan. You know, there's the beauty in being able to compete, but man, at this point, you're the Quakes. You haven't really had a good season since 2012, and it's tough, man. Like being a through and through. It's like being a Raiders fan, you know. Like, but the NFL's different because they all spend money. But this is like a little different because it's obvious the Quakes, they do spend money, but they don't spend as religiously as the Galaxy and the LAFC and even Miami or Cincinnati. Even, I mean, we can't compete with Columbus, right? Yeah. So it's weird, you know. It makes sense at the same time, but yeah, I feel bad sometimes for the fans in smaller markets because it's tough.
Yeah. So who is it? LAFC, baby. Just say it.
I like
Will
Columbus.
Ferrell.
I like Columbus a lot. Yeah.
Some of those Midwest teams, some of those East Coast teams, they'll pull at your heartstrings and make you like them.
So my whole thing is I like fan bases. Like Columbus is so not weird, but coming from California, coming from, you know, a Quakes background, seeing true USMNT fans, you know, like go out to that stadium, march to the stadium together, and these are people that you would think would just be like all for NFL. They're all for soccer, and that's a trip to see, like seeing a whole fan base, even in the Pacific Northwest. I was just in Vancouver, seeing 20,000 people that you wouldn't really see out here, you know, being all about their team. But Columbus is, I think they did a good job staying in Columbus because that was the first place I ever been to as like a trip where I saw like people had Columbus flags in front of their house.
Yeah.
Wow. you ever see
Portland's like that.
Yeah. You ever see a Quakes flag?
Portland
I hate
is
to
like
say
that.
it, right? Like we're just kind of blessed with other teams out here.
Yeah.
But Columbus, you see like little picket fences where it's like, go Columbus. And it's like, whoa, that's like, this is big time here, you know, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, I think it's also like, I mean, maybe a bit of devil's advocate. I think it's also the angle the teams have.
Yeah,
like you said, the Quakes haven't had a successful season in almost 13 years.
Yeah,
there's just no reason for like why would a family put up a freaking Quakes flag on their thing, other than some like Mickey Mouse reason that like they want their kid to grow up liking soccer.
Yeah.
No, like if you give them a reason, they'll be season ticket holders. They'll be there at every single game. They'll put stuff on their fences. Because right now, the only reason why you would do it is just because of loyalty to your Bay Area team, and that's maybe not enough.
Yeah,
there's more LAFC fans probably in the area than there are San Jose Quakes fans.
But like even little things like LAFC this year had a Hello Kitty night. Like what's going on? Like Bay FC had a Hello Kitty night. Like Quakes, they're doing a good job. They're doing better. But like, come on, Hello Kitty. Like the SF Giants had they had a Naruto night, and that went crazy, right? Like we gotta kind of know the demographic a little bit, and I think like Hello Kitty nights or like anime nights. I mean, there was a Pokemon Go night at the Giants game, and they had like a drone show. Like But it's tough, the Quakes don't have the budget that the Giants do. I get that, but it's just like
there's levels to this,
right.
for sure.
But like, why don't the Quakes play one game at the Giants Stadium?
Yeah,
that was my whole gripe. Bay FC did it. Shout out to them.
They killed
kudos.
it.
Yeah. The biggest attendance of all time for women's soccer. Why don't we have LAFC come to town?
And you ask any person who went to that game, and they're like, "Yo, it was amazing."
Right.
It just gives you an example that I want to go back to these games. Now I want to go to PayPal and see those girls.
Right.
Like, it just creates that culture.
Right. And I think it's the chicken or the egg for the Quakes. In the NASL days, they always wanted them to be SF Quakes. And no, we're San Jose. But at this point in 2026 now, this season, it might be hurting them more than helping them to be only San Jose. And I think Bay FC does a great job in getting all of the Bay
Area
involved, even though they play in San Jose.
Yeah, Niners vibe. Kind of like the Niners.
Right. And it's not even frowned upon these days, in my opinion, because you're right. The Niners play in Santa Clara. It's like 40 minutes away from SF, so.
Red Bulls are in New Jersey.
Right.
The Giants and the Jets are New Jersey.
Dallas plays in Frisco,
Yeah.
Or the Cowboys play in Arlington, right? Yeah. So it really doesn't matter where you play. And I think that's kind of hurting the Quakes a little bit. And hopefully with this new ownership group coming in, we saw Joe Lacob at the game. It's
Yeah, when's that happening?
Yeah,
do you know?
I mean, there was talks that
my clock is ticking.
Yeah, it was going to be before next season, hopefully. But we'll see. I mean, I would try to find out for you guys, but Joe Lacob being at that game at the end of the season isn't random.
It's gotta be good
random.
News, baby.
A guy with that much money doesn't just show up to games in a box with the mayor. So like, just little things like that. But Quakes fans, be careful what you ask for. Joe Lacob is famous for bringing a winning team to Golden State, but he also got rid of Monte Ellis. He also moved that team to San Francisco. So you gotta be honest with yourself. Would you like this team to be competing? But what if they move to San Francisco, right? So it's something to keep in mind.
Realistically, do you think we can sustain soccer in San Francisco? Like
100%.
We've talked about it on here because I love Kazar Stadium in San Francisco. We talked about it on the last pod.
El Farolito, shout out.
Yeah, El Farolito. We'll talk about them later for sure. I would have loved if Candlestick became something else, and then now we used it for soccer. Build up on that land now.
Yeah.
Bay FC. We talked about it, how Bay FC. I mean, I think it's inevitable for them to go to San Francisco because they're gonna have the training grounds.
Right.
All the ladies are gonna be living in SF. Why would you live in San Jose if you're only going to play here?
If I'm not mistaken, I think the Bay FC team is making a stadium on Treasure Island. If I'm not mistaken,
it's a training ground, is what I heard.
Okay. So
but
they're doing something.
I can only see that becoming if everyone's over there.
Well, so I kind of see it this way: the ownership group has somebody renting out their stadium already. So Joe Lacob or whoever it's going to be that's coming in to buy the Quakes. You already have you have a stadium that's already paid for, by the way. The stadium's already paid for. Mm-hmm. You've already made your money back on it. You have a tenant. You have someone that's using it. If MLS wanted to have a team in SF, right now would probably be the best time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Mayor London Breed kind of talked about it a little bit. There's a mall, right, that's in the middle of SF. I don't know the name off the top of my head.
It's the Westfield one. It
Mall.
just changed name. They just sold it, though.
Yeah. But there was a plan of having a stadium right there. And I was like, Bombonera vibes. Like, that's sick, like.
It is Bombonera vibes, but like low-key in the U.S., that kind of is weird. I used to live in SF, it's like weird. It's like a weird metropolitan area where that is.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of crazy, but I would be for it. Like, it's kind of wild.
It's right by the BART, too.
Yeah. And the Caltrain is somewhat close, you know?
You just get off Caltrain, BART into the city. Beautiful.
And my thing is like, well, they had a big...
Por lo menos.
But you had a problem with homelessness in SF, right? Yeah. They deal with that. But what's a better thing than getting rid of retail and having a venue?
Yeah.
You have nothing to sell.
If retail is dying, bring in a venue, and then it'll get better.
And I thought that would be a good option. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but MLS used to have a base in SF. They used to have a New York base and a San Francisco base, and that's why you see like Matt Doyle talking about the Quakes very in depthly because that was their team. So. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, a lot of those older MLS guys know a lot about the older Quakes because they were in SF.
Damn.
Yeah.
I did not know that or half of the things you said in this conversation. Yeah. So that's great. If you guys didn't already know, how much Favi is just like involved and in the now and knows all this stuff. We're going to learn a lot in this pod, so make sure you follow him on social media. And yeah, let's get right into it. Favi, I mean, you know a lot. How did you get started with covering soccer? Like, where did that come from? Where did that passion come from?
Yeah, look, shout out to Ivan. He was my Tectonic Takes podcast host, but I used to listen to so many Quakes podcasts, Quakes After 90, Quakes Epicenter, when I was starting Dan Quakes Fan TV. So, yeah, Quakes Fan, excuse me. And I was just like, man, it would be a dream to be on one of these shows. You know, it just speak my mind. You know, like these guys are having a hang, especially Quakes After 90. I mean, Dom and them, they would just sound like they were just buddies talking about the sport. And I didn't really have any friends that knew about Quakes soccer. So I was always like, bro, like this would be awesome. But Ivan put out a podcast episode called Tectonic Takes, and it was one episode, and he did it alone. Like Bill Burr style, you know, like just ranting for an hour. And I was like, geez, man, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
Going on a show by yourself and talking for an hour is so tough. And I reached out to him and I was like, hey, man, I'll be your co-host. Let's do this, you know? And he agreed. And then we, my first episode was the second one. And then now I think they're at 150. So yeah, shout out to them. They did a great job, but that was my start. You know, I started covering the Quakes through the podcast. I was a podcaster, like just a podcaster. And then I think the Quakes organization, the front office, they caught wind of it, and they caught wind that I spoke Spanish. And that was a time, you guys all know him, Matias Almeida was at the Quakes. And,
my goat.
And they didn't really have media that spoke Spanish and English at the time. So they kind of invited me like, hey, do you want to be on these press conferences? Because maybe you're Spanish, you're Uruguayan Spanish, you can understand Matias Almeida a little better. Even though he has a translator, you can maybe ask him some questions in Spanish and make him feel more comfortable. And I was like, yeah, it would be an honor like to talk to Matias. And so that's how I kind of got my first step into the journalism world. And then I started writing, and then I got a gig with Centerline Soccer with SB Nation, and that was my first writing gig that I got paid $50 an article, and man, $50 an article, you know, living in Japan, you're like, wow, dude, this is awesome, you know, like this is good, you know, we can buy lunch for like 4 weeks, you know, like, but no, yeah, it was a blessing, and I went to school for marketing, so it's not like I was a journalism guy through and through. It was more of a passion thing. But what set us apart with Tectonic, and I think that's what kind of helped me, is we had graphics, and I had to learn how to like graphic design on the spot. And I think that was like making it cool. You know, at the time, Tectonic was kind of the cool thing of being a Quakes fan, and there wasn't many Instagram pages either. So I kind of learned social media and graphics, and that's how kind of that grew and grew. And then, yeah, from there, I basically kind of became a writer. And then there's a time where Quakes fandom only grew so far, so I had to like, you know, move into the national media, and I felt like Messi coming into this league, the same issue that the Quakes had, where they didn't have many bilingual reporters. There wasn't any bilingual national reporters, and I kind of found my spot everywhere I went. I remember there was this one time where Messi was in Hong Kong, and he was with Inter Miami, and it was like a 3 a.m. kind of interview or press conference. And he was visibly mad. Like Messi was like, I don't know what we're doing here. I want to go home, in a sense. But the press release that came out wasn't that. It was like, oh, I can't wait to get home.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, that's not what he said. You know? So like I the way his tonality, his things like that. That's why I love when a player speaks in Spanish. The translation sometimes doesn't do it justice, because they have an agenda. You know, the clubs have an agenda. They want to protect their image. They want to protect the players. That's why it's so important to have journalists that can really tell you the real story, or at least be able to push that boundary. Because I was the one that I posted, like, you know, Messi is not too happy about being in Hong Kong. He wants to go home. Like, why are they doing this marketing thing out in Asia? It doesn't make sense. It was when they were doing that China and Hong Kong thing when he was injured and everything. And he was obviously irritated, and the press release wasn't that. It was like, it was way more soaped up, you know, like they cleaned it up a little bit. But I remember I was like one of the only reporters on the call, and I was like, damn, like this is like the biggest player in the world just off of Ballon d'Or, and nobody's here. Like, that's crazy to me.
Damn. So I want to take a stab at what you said. You were I just remembered you were in Japan for a good while.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of this MLS coverage at like US time.
Yeah.
I remember you were on a couple podcasts that I tuned into, and it was like night.
Yeah.
It was nighttime over there. Like not like 8 p.m., like night. And you were tuned in to like be on a podcast here.
Yeah. Actually, like a lot of times the pressers would be like, 10 or 11 a.m. here, and that's like 3 a.m. in Japan.
Jesus Christ.
So like you would wake up to do it because you have a passion for it, you have a love for it, and there was a need for it too, because I felt like nobody really was, translating and posting, because a lot of the way kind of journalism works was you would use Twitter to kind of get people to click on your articles so that you get the clicks for your articles. And that game kind of changed when I was starting to post directly to Twitter. Like, yes, you can write an article, but my whole thing was, shoot, if I can only get 5 people to read that article, then what was the point? You might as well write a tweet, get 20,000 on that tweet, and 20,000 people know who you are. And then you can get the article kind of going, like having your style and having interesting things, and maybe they feel incentivized. But a lot of times old school media or old school journalism, they don't give the meat in the tweet. Instead, they would give like the potatoes and
click
then
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I don't click them.
Right,
Yeah.
and I don't think anybody clicks them anymore. I think the term clickbait, it's funny because if you get called clickbait, that means you're good at getting them to click your link so that your enterprise or your employer can get the revenue from the ads. But man, the game has changed completely. Like, you can't even. A lot of things are behind paywalls too, so it's like, do people even pay the thing? Like, who's paying for these things? Like, you can't even get people to pay, I don't know, for any type of content. People are just watching things on TikTok live, for free. They don't want to pay. I mean, pirated games, right? So
I mean, that led to a lot of this revolution of the everyday like small content podcasters, is because, okay, do I pay this subscription for The Athletic, where they have a show that maybe I can tune into, or do I listen to like the most kind of authentic voice through like a subscription for whatever it is, or do I just tune into the local podcast and get the same thing, and maybe they even have the same emotions that I'm aligned to,
right,
and maybe I value that
or the
even
same
more.
background, right? Like, I grew up Latin American or Central American, and that's the podcast I listen to because they use the same words, like estaba borracho, things that I can relate to. Sometimes I think the USMNT media kind of struggles with this too, and I think the USMNT fan base struggles with this too. I mean, you have Diego Luna, you have Ricardo Pepi, and a lot of the voices in the media don't really resonate with those guys because a lot of the media is relatively, English is your first language. There's no dual, bilingual kind of media, and that's why sometimes I hop in on the calls with Poch, and Poch is just getting mad, because nobody really understands what he's saying, and it's funny because I'm like, no, I think this is lost in translation. And I think Herc Gomez, shout out to him, kind of says that a little bit too, because he's been noticing, and me myself, that the English media is not really understanding him too well. Like when he gets riled up about the sport, and he gets, the tonalities change a lot. And that's why if you're listening to this and you're a bilingual person, there's always a space for you in journalism. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, I would love for a lot of these questions, for folks that are tuning in, if you are interested in getting into the space, to really start thinking about like, okay, how did he do it, and take that angle. Now that we're getting that from you, that like, the market's there. Yep. It's becoming more and more international in MLS. It's becoming more and more Latino based. So they're gonna need that. I remember when Matias Almeida got his translator. Shout out Agustin. The homie.
Agustin. Yeah.
He's a very good, very friendly follower of the pod. That's the homie.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, damn, there is a market for a lot of different things for Spanish speaking folks in MLS if they want it to grow organically, properly, to the right audiences, to the right ears.
Right.
Because like you said, if I'm tuning into a Messi interview and I'm an Argentino that is just getting into MLS and they're pissing him off,
right?
Why would I watch any more MLS content?
Exactly.
I'm going to wait until he comes to my national team. And guess what? I'm going to hate when he leaves the national team and goes back to MLS, because you're going to treat him unfairly.
And that's what you're seeing too. I mean, I make a tweet about Messi, and it's tough because you got to toe the line, right? Like, he missed an All-Star game. The rule is he has to miss a game.
Baby.
Yeah, he has to miss a game.
You're out of here, baby.
I don't like the rule, but it happened to Zlatan, and if we're a league and we have to have rules, then it has to be done, So it's tough because
people were pissed,
and Favi, you're a reporter. You call yourself a reporter? I'm like, dude, I gotta, it has
they were
to
like
be
typical
fair.
Uruguayo.
Yeah, right. Like,
get out of here.
It's always you guys. It's always you guys. Just jealous.
Ardidos.
Yeah, exactly. No, but little things like that is always funny. But yeah, that's kind of how I found my space and kind of how I got to where I'm at.
So that started carving the way for you to become not just a local Quakes, which is what we grew up seeing you kind of at, and into like would the proper term be like an MLS insider, like an MLS coverage?
I would say like a national coverage, because sometimes...
And you would get into U.S. national team too, you said?
Yeah. Eventually it grew to that. And there was a time in Copa America where Uruguay was just swinging at Colombia fans. I don't think anybody forgot about that. But there was obviously a story that wasn't being conveyed to the public, and I kind of just hopped on the pressers for Uruguay, and I was like, what's going on? And I was translating Uruguayan players, and that was a cool moment too, because there was people in England that were getting to view my account for the first time, and I think that was the biggest day on Twitter for me, was when Uruguay started fighting with everybody, and
Look at that.
And I was translating for the Uruguayan team, and I never thought in my wildest dreams that my name would be plastered all over the Uruguayan newspapers down south, and all over, and my videos all over the news, because I'm 3 million people. My parents are immigrants. They came out here doing a painting job and groceries. Like they never thought their son would be the reason why they're talking about this in South America, which is wild to think about.
That is so crazy to think about.
Right.
Just taking that step back. That's crazy. And you just jumped on to back up your boys.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not. That is not what they said.
Right. Or like, why are they doing it? And I just had to be like, all right, a little bias here, but I had to do it. I had to, like, it didn't make sense. Like, why are they swinging at Colombia fans?
Yeah, you're like, leave Darwin alone, you guys.
Well, you see Darwin in those videos? That was wild, but it was dumb all around. The CONMEBOL put the families in the bowl instead of in a suite. Like, if Antonella's there, she's not in the bowl, she's in the suite. So it makes no sense why they did that for Uruguay, and that was a misstep. The whole Copa America had problems like that, and I think we all remember. And hopefully, the World Cup is not like that.
I went to the Allegiant match, Uruguay versus Brazil.
Oh, I was there too.
Yeah. Oh, you were there. Yeah. We should have linked up. That was so hot that weekend.
Yeah, man.
That was like the record.
It was like
hot.
120.
It was like 122, bro. Like, in the walk over, I was at the luxury, the closest hotel, so I could just walk. It was so freaking hot. Like, oh my God. But that was an amazing match. It was really tight. I think it was 0-0 went to penalties.
Yeah, exactly. 0-0 went to penalties, and then Uruguay went in penalties. But man.
Well, Araujo got injured, and I think that's what did you guys dirty the rest of the tournament, I think.
Yeah. And then Suarez missing against, I think the next game, Suarez missed off the post, and that against Colombia. And that was tough. But no, it's funny. As an Uruguay fan, you get to know that, like, you'll never get the casual, because you're playing against Brazil and Argentina all the time, and Colombia. So all those casuals that were there in Allegiant are always going for the other team. So we're always the number one hated national team. And
you think so? Yeah, interesting. It was so. I thought it was louder for Uruguayo fans.
No, but you got all. It's funny. You got all the like Mexico fans that thought Mexico would be there.
Yeah.
And
me.
Me.
And then, no, bro. Like,
and
I was there
wearing Brazil jerseys.
No,
now,
I was there backing up. I was like, soy celeste.
Okay. Thank you.
I was freaking getting in there. I was surrounded by Brazil fans. Though, legit Brasileños folks, and I was like, damn. All right, I go for Brazil.
But it was funny.
I was wearing like an Arsenal jersey.
Yeah, I brought my mom and my sister to that game, and we were like, we were in front of people that were like, obviously not from Brazil, so we're like, hey, what's your Portuguese? Like, tell me some Portuguese, and they couldn't. So we were laughing because they got the casual, that's for sure.
That's funny. Now, it was a great time in Vegas, man. I do remember now on social media, I think I hit you up. I was like, yo, is it really that hot? I was like, fuck, I don't know if I want to go. No, but that's awesome. You mentioned MLS transforming a whole lot now, especially with this influx of these superstars coming in, the big names. They're here to stay too. It's not just one and done like back in the day. Like, how do you, from like a journalistic standpoint and just overall, how have you seen MLS change? Like, where do you think it's going now?
Yeah, look, I don't want to make this like all about me, but it was funny because there was a moment where I was on YouTube and I saw a fan fiction made about me in my life about a tweet I made from a South Korean person. And I was like,
what?
I was like, what? Like, this person made this whole fan fiction, which is not true, about me making a tweet. At 3 a.m. in New York, Favian Renkel made this tweet about Son being eligible for newcomer of the year. And I was like, what the hell? Like,
Oh, in a positive light then.
yeah. It was a story about me.
It was a story
yeah.
mainly of like Son, of like his dream that Son would get newcomer of the year.
Yeah.
And then you were the
first journalist that wrote it.
You were the journalist that wrote it. And he's like, this fool's cooking. Damn.
And I was like, wait, this wouldn't happen 4 years ago when I was on Tectonic Takes. You know, like this is a next level like fandom. Like they have people in this league now with Son, Messi, DePaul, you know, Suarez, where they have fan bases. Like they have diehards that will follow them. I mean, I guess me with Suarez in Liverpool, you know, like they got people that really care about these players. And before you would get guys like Gerrard, you would get guys like Pirlo, you would get, you know, Lampard, guys that didn't really care to be here. So I think that has changed completely. And I still think that you need to have that older European superstar, because without that, I don't think you can really compete for an MLS Cup title. But I think it's changing. I think there's a lot of young guys too, like Thiago Almada, who eventually went to go play in Europe, who scores bangers for Argentina now, like is one of the better players for Argentina. When Messi doesn't play, it's Almada. And I think that coming from MLS is just as cool than landing a guy like Son, because you can look back at Almada's goals in Atlanta and think, man, that guy actually was playing here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just seen his banger for Atlanta where like it's a free kick and it just curls in perfectly. And I'm just like, oh, like he really played here, and now he's like scoring bangers in Europe and stuff.
Right. And for Argentina, which is wild to think, like Argentina has 2 MLS or 4 MLS players, or actually Rodrigo de Paul now, so 3 in their lineups all the time. You know, it's like, wow, MLS has that type of stamp on it. That's pretty crazy. And they're my pick to go back to back. I'm just gonna say that right now.
What?
But, yeah, I think Argentina's gonna win it again.
I was gonna ask you towards the end of the podcast, but damn, okay.
All the Spain noise, get out of here. With
I think Spain's got it.
I think Spain.
No.
I think Spain's got it.
England might have a chance.
They always have a chance.
They have a chance, but not like a realistic thing.
Yeah.
But no, I was Spain all the way. Just the way that I think they've been just growing it. Not just because of Yamal. I think everything outside of Yamal. I think he's the cherry on top that might help them overall. Just kind of the.
I think Spain really struggles with physical teams, and everybody on this west side of the world is going to be so physical. They're going to kick the crap out of Yameen.
Yeah.
And I think,
especially in South America.
I mean, look at Neymar. Like, come on. Like, Neymar didn't do anything on the big stage because they always chopped at him. And I think that's going to happen again. I just don't see. I think the heat is going to play a very big role, and I think
that's something that we're not really taking account of. Like
look at the Club World Cup. I mean, you had Dortmund players hanging out in the locker room because they didn't want to sit on the sideline. They didn't want to sit on the sideline.
Everyone was complaining about the Club World Cup.
Right?
It was like 90s. It was like low 90s in some places, and they were still like, no, we don't want to do this. Chelsea players, I think, were complaining a lot, even though they won it.
Right.
Like, I think everyone was just kind of struggling with it.
And it's just crazy to think like European teams, I think, are going to struggle with the heat. I mean, yes, they have time to prepare. Spain is probably hotter than England, but I still think it's going to be a bigger issue than people really think about. And especially the travel. Mexico, Canada, USA. MLS players are actually kind of used to it. Liga MX players are used to it with Leagues Cup and everything. So I think there's going to be an actual advantage for Messi to be playing in MLS in this World Cup.
Weren't we being promised that they were supposedly going to be taking dome stadiums more into account something? That after they had announced the stadiums, they were like, oh, don't worry, we're going to make sure it's in dome stadiums. They're like, we already know the stadiums, and half of them are not. Levi's doesn't even have shade.
Right.
Levi's.
Imagine Levi's, right?
Levi's, good luck if it's not at 7 p.m.
No, and they're not going to be, right? Because a lot of the games are going to be at 12 and 2 because they're for the European market. So these are going to be hot games.
That's primetime Mexico, though. I don't know if you knew this. Mexico, historically, when they were at their prime, their top rankings was because when they would play at home, they would play at midday in Mexico City, 8,000 feet of elevation,
and heat,
freaking 90 degrees. smog, 65% humidity.
And
How do you run if you're not used to that? How do you run?
Yeah.
And they at those times, a lot of them were playing in Mexico City and Liga MX. Like, no, you're not going to survive if you're not used to that. And that's how it's going to be here.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's, I mean, I know this is kind of crazy to say, but Poch is playing a lot of MLS guys. And a lot of MLS guys are getting spots. And maybe that's something that I think the fans aren't taking into account as much, where you have to be used to the travel, you have to be used to the heat, and it's a tough tournament. And that's why, I mean, but a lot of people say, to counter my argument, well, Germany won in Brazil, right? And that's way hotter. But I don't know. I think that German team was just stacked. And then also, I think Messi, and Argentina, they lost it. I think they lost it a little bit more than Germany really won it, right, to me. But, yeah, I think Argentina has a good chance to go back-to-back.
I would rather not. But okay, I'll let you have that.
They're already insufferable.
Yeah, I get that. But my whole thing is, as a Uruguayan, there's only 8 teams that own the World Cup. Like, let's just keep it that way.
Let's just keep it. The less, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
There's that one Uruguayan dude that came to the defense of Mexico fans on that one bus at the last World Cup. Do you remember him? They came to the rescue of I think Brazil fans. No, was it Mexico fans? And because they were doing the freaking Maldivas chant, like the one that the Argentinos hate about, like in las, what's the island? It's called
Las Maldivas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing the chant, and then the Argentino fans ran back to the back of the bus and were like, "Hey, that stuff is stuff you don't talk about."
I do remember that. Yeah,
and then they're like, "Us, these many World Cups, 2 or whatever the fuck that they got, 2 World Cups, and then you guys 0-0." And then Uruguayan came out and he's like, "Hey, we also have 2. And you need to shut the fuck up and chill out."
Hey, we have 4. What the hell?
Oh, yeah. Well, 2 of those were like in the 30s, right?
Well, so I actually, what's funny? My mom sent me a little Instagram reel about this, and I haven't fact checked it, but I believe it, But it's the World Cup FIFA wanted to have a World Cup, but they couldn't fund it. So they had to piggyback on the Olympics. So the reason why Uruguay feels like they deserve 4 is because FIFA just didn't have the money or the assets to get people there. FIFA as an organization wasn't developed enough to have their own tournament. And they basically said, well, these Olympics will serve as a World Cup. Like, we're going to make this into a World Cup. And that's why those 2 Olympics before the first real World Cup count as a World Cup.
I don't know about that. I mean,
you know what's crazy, though? The USMNT went to 3rd place in the first World Cup.
I remember that.
Which is wild.
I've seen that, yeah. I mean, they made it further than Mexico in normal World Cups.
Yeah.
They literally directly eliminated them to get further. But
we don't talk about that.
We don't. Yeah, we just leave that out. It doesn't fit our agenda.
No era penal.
I know. No era penal. I mean, that one is the one that hurts the most, but it wasn't necessarily the best Mexico's had. I mean, what was it was 2002, right, when the U.S. eliminated them? Yeah. That was a really strong squad.
Coming out of the Confederations Cup, the win.
94 was probably one of the best Mexico squads of all time.
2006 should have done better.
Yeah.
2006 on paper should have probably done better, but I mean, always Argentina in the way. What can you do when that happens?
06 Argentina, who'd they have?
Maxi
Rodriguez. That's all that they needed. With that fight.
Crespo, I think. Yeah, Crespo.
Him and
Davis was there too.
Yeah.
Well, the 2006 was the offside goal, the Carlos Tevez.
No, 2010. 2010 was it?
Was that 2010 where it went over them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. Oh my god, no! I still cry. No, that's not okay.
But I love Mexico now. But growing up, man, I was so jealous of you guys. Like, I was growing up as a Uruguayo, and you would see Coca-Cola, ya se armó, and then seeing Allstate, Memo Ochoa, ya se armó, all these commercials you would see on Telemundo.
But we hate that because that's what led to the downfall, the commercialization of it. That like it just became so easy to pitch to Mexican and Mexican American people. Yeah. That you forget about the quality of what's put on the field, and you just do it for the dollar. They literally started doing call-ups to bring the players that the brands wanted for the photo shoots.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, don't bring the guy that's doing the best in his moment. You don't have to bring Ochoa from Europe when you know he's going to be the number 1. Bring somebody else in and develop these players. But they're like, no, we need Osvaldo Sanchez to do a Coca-Cola commercial. Right. Like, bruh, are you kidding me? No, bring other better players and everything. And that's what it was. The youth systems were amazing. And then after they would win the U17s or whatever,
right.
after that, it was all, can you be marketable?
Right.
Can you make us money for call-ups? If not, we'll go by the wayside and good luck in your career.
Yeah, that's the argument, right? And Liga MX too kind of has a hand in that. I mean, look at Alexis Vega. Should have been in Europe. You know, he lives a superstar life in Mexico. I mean, has anything he ever could want in Mexico. Has all the riches in Mexico. There's no reason to go to Europe. You know, and that's tough because if you're a a Mexican guy who's at the pinnacle, soccer is the number one sport in Mexico. Why would you go? I mean,
there's no reason. Why would you go and be less rich over there,
right, and less famous,
yeah. And have to work for your spot, right, and be on the bench and not necessarily be great,
right?
When here they're literally offering me, don't go and we'll double your salary,
right.
Well, why would I ever go? And I think that's kind of what's kind of happened in for a lot of Latin American countries, because I see it with Uruguayos, and Marcelo Bielsa even came out and hated on a lot of players that came to MLS. He famously talked to Oliveira and told them that like lazy players come to MLS or something.
But he was talking about Suarez. He was. So this is actually kind of crazy because that was the start of the falling out with Suarez, and that's why I tweeted out like, man, who would have thought like the falling out of Uruguay was because of Suarez and MLS, you know, like because they had a lot of tension there, Suarez and Bielsa, and he probably meant it about Rossi too and Oliveira, and that's why Oliveira really forced his way out of LAFC. Like he said, I can't do it because of the smoke, because of the fires, and that's
that was so funny.
Yeah,
he's the dude that stayed home and never came back, right?
Because of the fires, So it's like, come on, man.
They weren't even by the stadium.
Right. But I mean, but that's why they lost 5-1. You don't think that was in the mind of some MLS players on that roster?
Yeah. But that's where I'm telling you, like, I think a lot of these Latin American countries, they are the ringers that they bring in to Liga MX, that they bring to MLS. And those guys, you're telling me, Cabecita Rodriguez, when he was at the top of his game, couldn't have gone to Europe when he was freaking scoring 15 goals a season. And
he went to Saudi, though, right?
Yeah, he did.
I mean,
but like
the same with El Rayito. It's the same thing. A couple years ago, probably like 2-3 seasons ago, he was rumored to go to Europe. It's like he could have, but America just has the resources to.
So then they start ping ponging between MLS and Liga MX. It's like, who pays me more? And it's like, well, you could go and fight at Napoli, my guy. You could go and fight at Roma. You could be at really great squads and be such a better weapon for your national team. And that's what happens in Mexico. And I feel like those other countries, though, they get motivated because there is a above leaderboard of better players that do go to Europe and kill it over there, that push them all to go. And even their coach, Marcelo Bielsa, would probably push them all just to go. Yeah. But in Mexico, it's like there's the Roberto Alvarados, there's the Alexis Vegas, there's the freaking Diego Laineses, and all these dudes are like, between all of them, they're like, why would you go? Why should we go?
Vega is actually an interesting one to me because in a World Cup, Vega is as good as Pulisic to me.
Well, the thing, soccer in Mexico is just too easy for him. Yeah. It's too easy for a lot of them. Luis Romo in Chivas, soccer's too ezy for him in Mexico. And sometimes they don't help on the lead in the scoreboard. Yeah. But it's too easy. Yeah. It's just too easy. But Alexis Vega shit the bed at the last World Cup. Yeah. And he cried before, and everyone was like, oh, this guy's going to cook. Yeah. 3 goals, 5 assists, I bet. 0-0. Nothing.
I mean, but the Americans didn't do anything in Copa America, and it was time to shine, right? So the moments are tough, but I mean, Pulisic is such on a pedestal because he plays at AC Milan, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. No, I think
he's putting him numbers.
He is, but he never does it for USA. Yeah, only against Mexico.
At the last World Cup, he scored in the knockout run.
Yeah, I'll give him that. But then he plays Bolivia in the Copa America, scores, but that's the only team he can play good against. So it's like, it's different. European soccer is a little different. I think you need to have a good mix of both, to be honest. I think you need to have that, grittiness of CONCACAF, and you have to have some European stars to kind of take over too.
But the U.S. doesn't have the grit. They don't have the dog in a lot of their players.
I think Diego Luna has it. I think.
Yeah, but now we're getting into that. He wasn't there at the Copa America.
I think Roldan has it. I think Roldan is a player.
He's not going to get called up.
I know. I think he is. I really do.
Between him and Berhalter, is what we're thinking. And I would say I think either of them have the dog in them. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But
I think Berhalter does a better job of the set pieces, and I think that's going to land him in the team. But Roldan is like a glue guy, and you can kind of put him anywhere on the pitch, and I think that's kind of smart to have. But
would he start?
No.
No.
Berhalter
Locker
might have a
room
chance. Might have a chance because of set pieces.
Yeah.
And I think that when you could take Pulisic off the set pieces, I think it's better.
No,
he's a natural lefty, right?
Yeah. So
no, I don't see that grit there, especially not past major tournaments, Copa America, last World Cup.
Yeah.
I think they have all the talent in the world, and sometimes it shows, and they can show in Timothy West scoring the first goal at the last World Cup, and they look good, and overall, you're just like, damn, this team is saucy. Like, we're going to do something.
Yeah.
But like you said, if they need that grit, I don't think that they have it.
Ricardo Pepi kind of has it a bit, and I think that's why I would.
But those couple, they're just Latino.
Exactly.
But like they don't.
They got that,
but they're not. They're not the entire team.
Yeah.
And then you're still gonna have. I don't know.
Pasión.
You're still gonna have like I don't know, like an Aiden Morris back there, and you're just like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. No,
you're still gonna have your back line
Yeah.
of a bunch of I don't know, just random fools. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean. It's different, but I do like what Pacha's doing. I mean, we kind of know who the good players are. You know, let's just try to find who's got it. You know,
less and less European.
Yeah, and
less and less. It's more and more MLS. He just came out and said that he's like it's happening because they're the ones putting up the results.
Right. And let's see. I mean, it's good to see what we have, and I've been a big fan of if they want it on the biggest stage, they're gonna show it, and I think the guys from MLS have been showing it.
Yeah, let's get into it then. Next year, 2026 World Cup, it's going to be amazing here in the U.S. We're all super excited. We got tickets to one of the matches at Levi's.
Look at you guys.
So catch us there.
I didn't. No, I still haven't been picked.
You'll get in. You'll figure out a way, and if not, we'll jump it. Screw it. Do you have? I mean, I was gonna ask you if you have any life hacks on how to get in, but you don't even have a ticket.
Yeah, honestly, just follow Travel Football Fan on socials is really good.
Yeah.
He does a great job. Shout out to him. I try my best to get my sources and try to give as much information as I can on my socials. But a lot of times this is just gonna be luck. I mean,
are you gonna try some random stadiums? I feel like low-key, what I'm thinking is that some of these stadiums might be a bit luckier for certain matchups. You might get a North Ireland versus Azerbaijan,
right?
But you got to do it. But I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe Kansas City might be nice because it's a huge stadium in the Midwest. It might be.
Oh, you think the balls are going to land in the right places?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that you can probably get a little bit luckier in the resale market or like a little bit later to be able to go to a game if it's at.
Well, the draw is in a month.
So a couple weeks, December 5th.
But like BC Place, I think might be better for West Coast folks than going to SoFi, which is going to be popping.
Oh, you're saying like. No. Americans are crazy for the World Cup, and
like, do you think we could get away with going to like a lesser known stadium or something?
I think once the balls are drawn, I don't think there is any hacks. I think Argentina's going to sell crazy. Like, I think if you're from Mississippi, you watch college football only, and college football is your thing. You're still going to go see Argentina in Kansas City, even if you don't like soccer, don't even know who Carlos Vela is, right? Like, I think the Americans are so crazy about World Cup. It's actually kind of wild. I'll tell you guys this. I've covered MLS. I got to 10,000 followers on Twitter. But once I started talking about tickets, I gained like 1,000 followers overnight.
Damn.
And it's like, and you get all these casual people that want to buy tickets and have never interacted with anything Liga MX or MLS. So, no, Americans are crazy for a World Cup. Now, turning those people into actual, CONCACAF soccer fans, that's the real kind of thing. And that's why I'm always like, yo, follow me.
That's the real challenge because you talk to any American and they're like, oh, the World Cup?
Right.
Oh, I remember seeing the Spanish. And like, it just happens like that. Like, you talk to people randomly and that's all they say. Like,
and it's crazy. It's like, oh, look at my full Panini sticker book. And then they're like, oh, who's the Columbus Crew? It's funny.
What is a crew? So what's going to be your go? You don't get in, you don't get tickets?
Well, I'm lucky.
I'm telling you.
I'm very lucky. I was accepted to the draw for credentials. So
let's go.
Yeah. So I have a good, pretty, like.
You have a way in.
Yeah. I do. My family doesn't. You know,
Yes. So for your family, I guess what I was going into it is like a little part of me just tells me, you know what? You can go. Maybe BC Place might be less poppin' than Levi's.
I don't know. I saw 55,000 at BC for Vancouver Whitecaps, and I think if it's a world, I mean, okay, if it's Jamaica, no, not even Jamaica. If it's like Azerbaijan versus
Congo,
Cape Verde, you know, you're gonna get $20 tickets. Let's be honest.
I'll be there. That's what I'm saying. Those are my wishful thinkings.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You're gonna get, I don't know, like at the NRG Stadium, I think in Houston is one of them, right? Or like.
But my heart goes to like all the fans who bought tickets already, and if they get, you know, Jamaica versus Uzbekistan.
I mean, we got these here.
Yeah.
And who knows what sometimes they bring some stinker games to the Bay Area.
And I was banking on like the Bay is so diverse.
Yeah.
I have a higher chance of having a decent game and at least getting my money back.
Yeah. I mean, you might get a Norway. That'd be so fun.
Hey, there's a big Uzbekistan population out here in the Bay. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Maybe Bosnia. Yeah, but
yeah, Bosnia I've actually seen.
Yeah.
Shout out Bejic Kikanovic. But no, it's the balls, man. I think the balls are gonna land where they're gonna land, and FIFA knows this, and I think that's why they've been pushing tickets and they've been making it so scarce to kind of create this scarcity effect and making people kind of like, oh, I need to buy.
Let's call it what it is. Is it price gouging? We're talking $600 tickets.
I've seen tickets for 60. I've seen tickets for 60.
Hey, can you send me that link real quick?
No, but you got to be the chosen one, right? Yeah. You got to be the chosen one. But I have seen tickets for 60.
Well, up in the sky. No?
Of course. But if you're a soccer fan and you want to see a World Cup, you don't care what seats they are, you don't care what teams they are, there's gonna be $30 tickets, and it's gonna be Uzbekistan versus
Norway.
No, not even Norway.
That'd
Probably
be a good one.
Uzbekistan versus Cape Verde. But unfortunately,
Congo.
but it's a World Cup, and I think a lot of casuals aren't gonna care. It's gonna be probably like 30,000 anyway. 40,
I'll be there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll find out who the players are.
And that's what kind of the beauty. I mean, my favorite World Cup is definitely the South Africa one, and that's the beauty of it. There was just so many. Once their team's out of it, they chose another team. You know, like the African teams went for South Africa, you know, or they went for Ghana, you know, because their team was out of it, you know. So hopefully there's a lot of that, you know. Hopefully there's a lot of people going for Uzbekistan for Asia and things like that. And
are they even in Uzbekistan?
Yeah, they are.
I think they're.
Yeah. So,
Uzbekistan is strong this year, and their youth programs are crazy. No, they're for sure in it. You got a must-visit stadium that you're looking forward to, or that you just went to, that we should tell the fans, like, yo, go to this one.
All right, how about I'll start with you guys. You choose yours, and then I'll tell mine after.
I loved Allegiant.
Oh, Allegiant. But they're not in it.
But they're not in it.
Yeah. Rumors were that the draw was supposed to be in Vegas with the Spear. And then Trump's like, no, we're doing that in Washington, D.C.
Oh, dude, yeah. Way to fucking kill it. I mean, of the ones that are there, I mean, I haven't been to SoFi, and it just looks so amazing. I mean, you just went to BC Place, and just from your freaking pictures, I was like, God damn it, you go there.
Yeah, BC actually really shocked me. I wanted to say Lumen. Lumen's the stadium, or Seattle. Seattle. Lumen's the stadium where you stand in the middle, like on the pitch, and it's like, whoa. It's like, whoa, I could see how this stadium would make Messi lose 3-0 in a final. You know, like it's tall. It's crazy. You get fans yelling at you. It's probably the closest thing we have to Azteca here, to be honest. Yeah. And I think in terms of like the height of the seats, you know, and the acoustics there. But yeah, man, seeing a game there would be dope. I mean, I brought my parents to the Club World Cup game with Botafogo versus Seattle, and they were impressed. Like, man, this place is sick. Like, and sorry if you have any Niner fans listening to this, but man, Seattle Seahawks Stadium just completely better than Levi's.
This thing is a shell of what it should be.
Right. We're spending that much money, like
right. And yeah, Seattle's a great city, safe city. It's actually really good for Metropolitan to move around in the lines and stuff like that. But
we're going to Seattle, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
put it on the card, Cessa.
The USMNT play in Seattle, so if you're a USMNT fan,
that wouldn't be too bad.
If you're thinking LA and Seattle, I would say go to Seattle night and day. I mean, SoFi is nice, but it's what I always hear about LA is the traffic, and there's not enough trains and things like that to kind of get you to SoFi. So it's like the Rose Bowl. you got to get there 4 hours ahead of time, and then you got to wait 3 hours.
LA
after.
culture though, bro. Just Uber Black and just chill in the back, bro. You know, send some tweets. You know, put a selfie online. Take your time.
No,
edit the pod in the back.
Skis in there too.
Yeah, we're chilling. We'll be there at some point. Maybe halftime. We'll be there.
Maybe I've been to LA too many times. That's
maybe you have been. For us that haven't been too much, I like when I go down there. It's a good time. Do you see any big challenges coming up for the U.S. for the World Cup logistically?
I think they're not going to have pro U.S. crowds, honestly. In L.A., they're not. If they play Argentina, that's going to be tough. If they play any South America country or a country that would have a big fan base in L.A., that's going to be a tough one for them.
We'll be here for it.
I
love it. I mean, you got to fight. You got to earn it, right?
I feel like anywhere outside of Ohio, it's like
it's tough. It's tough. It's
tough for them.
Even Atlanta, I would feel confident in them, but like LA is tough. Yeah, I think they almost did it on purpose because that is a tough venue for. I mean, California has always been tough for the USMNT. They don't play there often. I think the Quakes had them like 4 years ago, and Sebastian Lletget, shout out Becky G's boyfriend. Broke his leg there. And
is that the tough. Rainy day?
Yeah,
I was there. It was not full.
Yeah,
it was very empty. There was like nobody within arm's reach of me in the stadium.
I bet you anything, if you would have promote that, that's Becky G's boyfriend, they would have sold more tickets for sure.
Yeah, they should have done something. Like
she was there.
No, she sometimes is.
She was there somewhere. She knows Bad Bunny, and they would have sold all of them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that's the biggest issue with the USMNT is non-pro U.S. crowds, and that's always been an issue. It's been an issue to sell even USA tickets anywhere but Ohio. So.
Damn, they should have booked the Bama stadium.
Yeah, something like that, right?
They should have played at Bama, and then they'd be killing it. They would have had a full stadium. Pro U.S. crowds, I think. Do you think there'll be anything logistics-wise, like the Copa America with like the craziness of the fans trying to get in? Like everyone's going to be trying to figure out one way or another to get to a big game.
I think there's going to be a lot of. I think this next generation, it's tough because. I think we're seeing it in all kind of forms of life where concerts, people don't really pay for tickets. The unfortunate thing that happened at Astroworld was caused by like 15,000 people sneaking in, it's just a new thing that people, don't want to pay for tickets. Of course, there's going to be people doing it. But I don't know. It's a World Cup. I think they're going to see CONMEBOL's Copa America as like a trial run, and they're going to make sure with every sort of security. And I think with Infantino being so close to Trump, it's going to be a lot harder to kind of sneak in this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing, I don't know if they're real videos, but I've been seeing a bunch of videos of like the security enhancements that they're going to be having at games, and they seem a little bit drastic to say the least. But
it was dangerous, that final. I mean, you saw all the people sitting in the stairs, and one fire, one flare, that could be a really bad thing.
It could be a really bad thing. So, I want to get into some Spitfire, but before we get into that, I do want to ask you, Favi, maybe if you want to give us a bit of a look into your future, like what do you? So 2026 is coming. It's got to be a big year for Favi. I want to hear a little bit about like what comes next for your career. Kind of what's your plan for 2026? You're gonna keep this thing growing, moving, or like kind of what are you gonna be doing?
Yeah, look, I was with Sports Illustrated and 90 Minute for a while. Shout out to Irvin Pitch. I've been writing for them.
Shout out the boys.
Yeah, they're cool, man. I'm kind of growing this on my own, kind of taking it a step by step basis. But I'm making a big one this week, actually. I'm moving to New York, so that's a big step for me. I always said, man, the Bay Area scene needs something like New York or LA. It's funny because now I'm on the pod. You guys are actually doing something.
Yeah, now we're moving. And I'm like, A-State will hire you.
Dang it. Like I always said, the Bay needs to get everybody together. And it's funny is a lot of the journalism around here is kind of old school media, so it's tough to do something like that. But you guys are doing a great job out here, getting all the content creators kind of mixed together and do something as a unit. And that's something that I saw that New York was doing and LA was doing. So it's really cool to see you guys doing that out here. But yeah, I'm making the move to New York. I luckily got offered a job to kind of be with Kickbase. There's a big project I'm working on, and I'm super excited for it. I think it's something that's going to resonate with a lot of fans of what I've been doing, and I'm excited to kind of get with all the creators in New York and really lift up this project. And I've always said that New York kind of has this creator scene and everybody together. And now that I'm leaving New York, I see you guys doing it. So I think it's so cool what you guys are doing out here with what's going on with the creators, and you're kind of linking the podcasters with the creators and the journalists and all that. So no, I have something very, very exciting.
More to come. Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Follow Favi on his social media. And we'll get a lot more word of what's to come. It should be coming soon. Sounds like.
Yeah. No, definitely, it is coming soon, and it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be real fast once everything's done. So it's gonna be good.
Excited to hear these news. And
Huge kudos. Congrats
Appreciate it,
on
guys.
getting a full-time role and leaving us in the Bay Area.
Don't forget about us.
We'll carry the torch. We'll try to make it bigger so that you feel enticed to move back to the Bay.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. The scene is growing.
That's dope. So what should we be expecting from your Twitter page? Because that's your biggest. I think your Instagram is really good too, where you share a lot of information. What should we be expecting going up to the World Cup? Will you be giving us some golden nuggets on like, hey, this is information that you need to know. This is kind of what's popping ahead of the World Cup, or what should we be expecting?
Yeah, honestly, my Twitter is going to be probably the best place to get any information because it's just so fast to kind of write up anything really. And get it out to the masses, because Twitter is still that vehicle if you love it or hate it, right? So I am on Threads. Actually, Threads, I think, is growing a little bit. Sometimes I get things that pop that wouldn't pop on Twitter. So it's interesting. Threads has been a good vehicle for me. And but Twitter is 100%. And then I'll be with Kickbase too. So for MLS stuff like that.
That's dope. Well, kudos to you.
Yeah.
Congrats for getting that role.
Yeah,
we're wishing the best for you. Hopefully you kill it out there, and hopefully kill it so much they can move back to the Bay to be out here with us.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Don't forget about your parents. I'm just start ragging on you, just make you feel bad.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited too because this new content creator scene is growing drastically, and it's like a lot of Sunday League stuff. So hopefully I can, the New York Sunday League scene is crazy. So. I'm excited to kind of jump into it over there too, so it's gonna be a good time.
We want to see you playing out there, bro. We want to see you cooking. I want to see you cooking, bro.
Maybe one day,
Forlan style. I see you out there, bro. Let's go. You got the Tims ready or what? You got some Tims?
Dead ass me. No.
Dead ass me. It's brick outside.
What's funny is when I was an English teacher in Japan, I always taught the kids how to say like New York slang, just in case they're out there one time. And I never thought I would be out there,
Yeah, so. Look at you, bro.
Yeah,
Let's go. You're about to have Jay-Z music on. You're about to
I don't know about Jay-Z.
Wear a New York hat.
New York
mob. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, he said mob. Okay. Jay-Z.
Let's go. No, I mean, kudos to you. Congrats, and I hope that you kill it out there. We'll have someone to tap into when we're out in New York. It'll be lit. It's gonna be a good time. All right, let's get you into some Spitfire. Favi, I got some good questions for you, brother. I know you've written a good amount of articles. I followed a good amount of them. I loved a good amount of them. I want to hear what's your favorite story you've written.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I wrote one about Alexei Miranchuk and how he met Playboy Cardi at a restaurant. And that was weird. That was different.
This is not what I was expecting.
Or how Edwin. Another one I did was Edwin Cerrillo, how he worked with the Los Toxicos in L.A.
We've seen that video. Yeah, he was masked up. And he cooked everybody.
I wrote about that. That was a cool one.
I would have put the clamps on him. I'm just saying. I would have put clamps on him.
But yeah, that was one where I was talking to this girl and she's like, "Oh, my mom read your article." I was like, "What the hell?" Like that one got out there. So that was a cool one. And then though I think those two were the two that I think were the craziest for me, at least.
You did a Farolito one.
Oh yeah. That one I usually cover Farolito for NPSL. But those are more or less kind of like gamers,
game updates and stuff.
Yeah. So I kind of like the more creative ones, like how this Atlanta superstar from Russia, links with Playboy Cardi and stuff like that. Like that's always fun.
I love it. You've also done a good amount of interviews.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one you've done?
Ooh, that's tough. Interview. Like one-on-one?
Yeah, I saw one that I saw that you did really good was Evander.
Yeah, that was a good one too. My actually Evander was a great one, but I'll give this one to St. Clair. I mean, Dane St. Clair. I talked to him in front of the Coachella building. Like the famous cylindrical Coachella, circle that people walk in.
Friggin' leaning tower thing.
Yeah. That's like colorful, and we chopped it up about Caribbean music. I mean, I'm a big fan of Popcan. He's from Toronto, so they got a big, Jamaican kind of out, mix out there, and we kind of just talked about.
Wait, was that even official, or you just was that at Coachella?
No, it was at Coachella. So MLS has a preseason tournament at Coachella, and
but it wasn't Coachella Music Festival. You were at the preseason tournament.
Yeah, the Empire Polo Grounds, but the thing is still there. Like it's still there, so you can set up an interview in front of it. And I thought that was pretty funny. Like, oh man, we're really taking advantage of this. It was surreal because like I've been to Coachella and like you see like 300,000 people in front of this thing, but then you're sitting in front with an MLS player and there's nobody around, so like it was cool. It was a cool setup. I had a couple of photographers with me, and that was a really fun interview for sure.
That's dope. You know what? Fun fact, and I don't know if he'll remember this at all. I met you at Coachella. I think the first time we ever actually like said what's up to each other. No, we didn't. I'll take that back. We didn't say what's up to each other. I came back to the Bay after Coachella, and I told you I saw you from afar.
Damn.
It was you and your boy. Like, they think it was just like a little squad that you had.
Yeah.
And I remember I was gonna go tap in, but I was like, no, I'm a little too turned, and I'm sure he's a little too turned.
Honestly,
too.
I was probably cross-eyed.
And, and I was like,
you should.
And I was like, yeah, maybe I'm not going to. And maybe I was so turned that I don't even remember if I went and said what's up to you or not. But I swear when we came back to the Bay, I told you. And I was funny. Like, I didn't say what's up. I was like, ugh.
That's real funny. That's funny. No, what's crazy about the fun fact? What's crazy about the cylindrical thing is actually it's not those colors on the inside. It's just the
outside the outside filter. Yeah,
it's all white on the inside.
No, Coachella's a good time. That was 2023. The year that I went.
Yeah, the Frank Ocean year.
Yeah, Frank Ocean freaking didn't show up. And then they did Skrillex and Fred again, and
right.
That we couldn't win. It was epic. I'm not a huge Frank Ocean fan. Don't cancel me, folks. But I wasn't super sad.
Yeah, I liked it.
You were sad. You're like I was hurt.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was a good time.
There's some performers that are not good performers.
Yeah.
There's some. I always say there's like the triangle, right? You can be either a good performer, you can be a good artist, or you can be a good personality, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't have all three. And if you have all three, you're Michael Jackson. You know, or like Justin Bieber, for example. Great performer, Beyonce. Great artist. Maybe not personally, has some issues there, For example, Tyler, the Creator, great artist. Actually, the best performer. I think Tyler, the Creator is a very good performer, but maybe personality is a little out there,
It's a little weird.
Yeah. So it's tough to have all three, and I think with Frank, personality is weird too. Music's super great, but then performer, he's one of the worst performers.
Yeah, I was hearing that he has this gnarly stage fright.
Right. And we got to remember too, like these people are human too.
Yeah, they're human, bro. We get nervous.
Right. So, and Coachella meant a big thing for him, and his brother died, and things like that.
Yeah,
so
I heard it was a little bit gnarly. Oh my gosh. Going along with your interviews, you have a funniest player you've interviewed.
Funniest player.
Where just like you said, some people just got that personality.
Yeah.
There's somebody that like maybe not their answers, but you're just like, bro, like I would get a beer with you afterwards. You're a good time.
Oh, you put me on the spot now.
Yeah,
this is a good question.
You're leaving us, so you're leaving the Bay Area, so you got to reminisce before you leave.
This is funny. I told Joe Paintsel from the Galaxy that I used to make music, and he's like, hop on a song. And I was like, I don't know about that, dog. But that was really cool. Joe Paintsel is a cool guy, man.
He does music.
Yeah, and they play it in the stadium when he scores.
What?
Yeah.
So what kind of music is it?
It's like Afro.
I don't watch Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh, he did some Afro.
Yeah, but like kids were singing his song, and then at the parade when they won, they made him sing the song in front of the parade. Yeah, so that's like a concert, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool that they support him like that. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Do you have somebody, and I can edit this out, who is a little bit dry? That you don't mind them
dry. Sometimes the coaches are a bit dry. I mean, me and Bruce Arena, I think gets a little mad at me sometimes.
Yeah,
but I try to get what I can.
You try to make them laugh.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, you get a chuckle, but sometimes when you're a GOAT MLS coach, like who's this guy?
Yeah.
I'm like just bothering me.
They kind of expect certain things or something, right?
Yeah. And I try to kind of just maybe not, tickle you with the feather, but I kind of like, hey, I asked Arena this, and it's on the press conference. Like, has Fisher backed you completely? or do you know anything about like the sale of the team? And
he's like, bro, if you don't shut your
he's like,
now.
Let's talk about Daniel Muni and his 16 clearances, but he got obviously mad.
I would have been like, let's not. Let's how about we stay on the topic?
And then the other journalists around me were like, dude, can you not ask that for the first question? Now he doesn't want to talk to us.
You set us all up for failure. That's why I'm not a freaking a journalist, because I would just be saying the
just
most
go straight for it,
yeah.
But like exactly, if you go something out of pocket like I did, you're gonna get a bad night for all the other people writing pieces, so they hate you too. So it's just there's so much politics in it, and it's funny because I never expected it going into it.
Damn. We're all creatives here. I hope some folks that are creatives are tuning in and trying to get a better idea of your brain and how you kind of have gotten to where you are. We all get stuck a little bit. Every once in a while, we have some troubles. When you're stuck in that creative rut, what do you do to kind of get out of that, to get unstuck?
Yeah, that's tough because you gotta like find a way where, I know soccer's your life and soccer's everything. But you gotta kind of find a way to step away from it, or maybe kind of step away from it and then take a different angle. Like, for example, I love journalism. I love covering the sport, but sometimes I get to do a Footwork, which is a magazine where I handle the edits and still get to do my graphic design for my photographers that go to shoot games. And I get to see the angle where I always talk about this in interviews, but like as a kid, I loved looking Slam magazines because I was like, dude, these guys are sick. Like, hey, whoa, like you would see Vince Carter, wow, like all these guys on these magazines, and that's kind of where I get inspiration. And kind of when I work with Footwork, it kind of makes me think as a kid, like, okay, how do I make Evander look cool? Like how do we?
Are you trying to say he's not cool? Are we breaking that?
No. I'm just kidding. I think he is cool. I think he is cool, but like, how do we make him look sick?
Yeah.
Like MLS does a great job,
and all of your pictures look so sick.
Yeah.
Like you make Ricky Puig look cool, which is tough to do with that freaking little freaking Magneto haircut that he's got on.
Oh, Ricky Puig as a personality is actually kind of cool because he talks shit.
That's
he's like a mini Zlatan.
That's why we love and we hate him.
Yeah. But no, Ricky Puig is the only person in MLS that I know will go after fans. Like he gets in it with fans online, and that's exactly, that's what you love to see. But no, 100%, it's really cool. I know I have that vision, and that's why it's the toughest thing when you're a journalist and you want to grow, your other aspects more, because it's tough because there's not two Favian Renkels. So it's finding that sweet balance of, okay, I got to edit this, I got to upload this, I got to ask the photographer to shoot this and this person at this moment. And then you have to wait. I just got like Messi conference. No one's on there speaking Spanish. Okay. Like you have to prioritize things that help you grow. And I've had a great knock at like finding things that don't make me burn out. I had a good conversation with Charlie Boehm when I was shout out to the MLS journalist when I was a first year journalist. He was like, "Hey man, you're killing it, but you got to worry about the burnout."
Yeah,
because the burnout's a real thing. And my advice is kind of find something in the realm that will still help you grow, but look at it from a different angle. Like for example, I like to write, I like to report, but sometimes I just like to creative direct and edit those graphics or edit that photo slide for the players. And like this was a really cool moment as not a journalist, but Marco Royce posted our photo with the Footwork logo and everything.
Yeah,
he thought it was cool, So if a person with that many followers, I think he's like crazy amount of followers, I think like 30 or something like that, something crazy where I was like, whoa, there's a Footwork logo that on 30 million people's feed that I didn't pay for, And I think that was a nice little victory too. Or when Footwork was allowed to shoot Argentina, that was a cool little thing. Like this little magazine with a couple photographers, not even an online magazine, and we were able to shoot the world champions, little things like that.
That's dope. So you're saying like throw in a little bit something different that is in the same realm, but will keep it more fun.
Yeah.
So that you don't.
For example, you guys are doing the same thing, right? Yeah. You guys are doing podcasting, but you're also going out to events. You're hanging out with creators. You're doing pickup games. It's these little things that are in the field, but you're making sure that you don't get burned out about this.
And at a certain point, like you said, you start seeing growth with the 30 million freaking follower account hitting it, and that kind of fuels you a little bit again to get back to other stuff.
Well, and I'm going to say this too. Footwork is one of the reasons why I actually got the job I'm in. Because he was like, you have that eye. You have what makes soccer look cool. And it's a small account that has 800 followers, but I never would have thought that added to my portfolio or resume that it did.
Yeah, we're one of those 800, baby. Follow Footwork Magazine. We're gonna link it right here.
Thank you.
No, you give a really cool spin to the accounts.
Yeah,
it looks fucking sick.
And I'm gonna say this: I've had people reach out to try to buy it, and it's tough. You know, like I've had offers, and I'm like, I can't do it. You know, because it's my outlet, it's my fun, it's my creativeness. Yep. And they were handsome offers, but then that I kind of got into this where it's like, well, how do I have Favian Renkel, the journalist, at the same time as Favian Renkel, the creative director, that's now funded by a bigger company? You know, like I'm going to have to give up the journalism side, but I didn't want to do that because it's the World Cup's coming up and things like that. So there's a lot of, once you reach the point in your passion project where you're getting other people to recognize it, you're going to make some hard decisions, and it's a little tough at that point.
Yeah. No, and the more you hold out, Favi, the more it'll be worth in the future.
Exactly,
Papa, we're cooking. With that in mind, I want to hear more about Footwork, but overall, the whole project of Favi on Twitter and with MLS and everything, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, look, I think there's, if you're a journalist or if you're a podcaster, if you're a content creator, there's room for all of us. And I think one big thing about me is any podcast I'm invited on, anything, I'm always there and I'm always 100%. Shout out to Tom Bogert because he was the biggest guy in MLS, but he still took the time to come on Tectonic Takes. And it was the small San Jose Earthquakes podcast at the time. And that really, really resonated with me because no matter how big this guy is, he still took the time to talk to me in my mom's house, like
I'm dead.
Yeah, so that's my biggest thing. I think I find myself in the same position where I was able to kind of do these Twitter awards where we shouted out podcasts. I'm not doing those anymore, but I think the community is going to take them over. And I'm very happy about that. But in 3 to 5 years, I think I'm going to be in a place where I can at least, get other creators or other journalists in the position that they want. And I think that's the love for me because I love helping people get jobs. And I've had a lot of photographers at Footwork get jobs with the Washington Spirit or other companies. And that resonates with me as a win to me and not just only me.
For folks that are getting into journalism, maybe folks that don't know how to get into journalism, folks that want to get into the podcast space, we're always a resource. But you are somebody that's been in it and has popped off, has been growing a lot. Maybe even for the folks that want to do it at the very independent individual level, what kind of advice would you give those folks to get started?
Yeah, take the leap. Honestly, the biggest thing is getting started. And I think that was something that I wish I did earlier. I mean, I started when I was 25. I wish I started when I was 20, And I was always worried about what people would think, right? Like what the people would think around me and I'm going to get clowned on and things like that. If I make this content, I'm going to get clowned on,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're just clowning on you because they don't want to see you outside of the box that they put you in. So that's
real.
That's my advice, and that's been my motto. I mean, if anybody ever hates on you, it's because they have you where they want you. Mm-hmm. And once you show them that you're not there, that's when they start to be like, no, wait, you're supposed to be that. You're supposed to be this.
Yeah.
No, I'm what I am. I'm what I want to be. So that's kind of my advice. Just get to it. I mean, don't care about what people think about you. Don't care. I mean, obviously your gut feeling is going to tell you if it's good or not, and you can always get better. I mean, I wasn't the best writer when I first started. I wasn't the best podcaster when I started. Shoot, I used to stutter on Tectonic Takes all the time, right? I still stutter a little bit, but I would get too excited and be like, but you get trained, right? You get to get better at this and the reps and the years. I still remember after the LAFC final, I was starstruck with Gareth Bale walking by me, and I still remember that because I was like, I was worried. But nowadays, when I see people like Messi walk by me, yeah, it's a big deal. But I'm still like, wow, you get trained, you and then once you get trained by that, once you remove that effect, like these guys are professionals, they're just regular people. Like I was at this EA event talking to this one player. I didn't even know she was a player. I was just talking to a person, and she was a player for the NWSL. And it was cool because I was just like, hey, where are you from? Da, 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 like a normal person would be. And sometimes they like that better. And I think, seeing, like, talking to Carlos Vela like a normal person, that's tough, but like, they like that, Carlos, how was the Lakers game? Oh, talk hours to you about the Lakers game, so it's interesting.
I'm assuming, you made a good point. Sometimes it's tough with certain people because we naturally have information. Like we all know that he's one of my favorite players of all time from Mexico, right? I'm assuming the same would be for you if you saw Luis Suarez, right?
Right.
Maybe that might go out the window where you're just like, oh shit, like I'm supposed to be relaxed, but I'm freaking out right now, right?
But your mind will get numb to it eventually. So
you get used to it a little bit.
Yeah. Once you're like, I always joke about this, but like once you're in the circles or like once you feel like you belong, it's going to feel like normal day. Like it's going to feel like, okay, well, I got to go to EA and do this thing and talk to people. And it's not going to be like, oh, like, there's going to be crazy NWSL. Alex Morgan's going to be there. It's going to be just like, okay, well, I'm here to do a job. It's kind of cool because you're in the zone a bit, like you don't let your emotions get too high and low. And if you're worried about that, you shouldn't really worry about that because you're going to get used to it. I know for a fact for me, that was tough. I mean, interviewing the Philadelphia Union when they just lost a brutal MLS Cup final, it's like, that's tough, but that gives you the reps, you have Jack McGlynn crying in front of you, and it's tough, but I was very fortunate. MLS used my interviews and quotes for their official kind of press release. And that was a cool kind of moment where I was just like this independent guy who had los cajones or los huevos to go up to them while they're crying and get quotes. And it became a job, and that's something that I would give to the advice. Don't worry if you're bad at it. Don't worry about what people are going to think about you and just get to it. And I wish I started earlier. And I know all of us could probably say that. We wish you started earlier. Definitely. And I know it's cliche, but even if you have a fear, don't have a fear about what you're passionate about because that's what you're here for. Just
get out there, right? Yeah, if you want to talk about like bad first episodes, go check out ours. It's still there everywhere. No, I mean, I'm sure we were studying way more than now. But no, that's amazing advice. So what do you do when you got a crying Jack McGlynn in front of you? You're like, damn, my boy.
The human part about me, like the human part about me was like this 16-year-old just bawled out and he literally is bawling now. Like I feel so bad, but you got to be respectful. Like you gotta. Of course, you're not gonna be like, "Oh, what'd you wish would have happened?"
You gotta be professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, you're there for the job.
Yeah,
and you're trying to be taken serious, so maybe take them serious, right?
And I think that has a lot to do with my mentor too. Another advice I would give you or give to the people listening is reach out for advice because there's people that are willing to take a chance on you, and there's willing to people. I mean, of course, not everybody can pay, but experience is just as valuable when you're first getting started. I mean. I learned a lot at Area Sports Network. Shout out to Alonso Contreras, but Alonso put that mic in my hand and said, go interview him. And I was like, he's crying. Like, what are you talking about? Go. And I was like, okay, fine. And so you just go for those moments. But there was all the Philadelphia media behind me, like not knowing what to do. And I was the one that was thrown into the flames and got rewarded for it, So, that was kind of a moment in my career where I was like, go, just do it, because the worst that can happen is you'll get another shot. I made mistakes in my career and there's things that I wish I could take back, but I also know that I learned from them. Yeah, and I think, and that's, my career hasn't been all triumph. No, for sure. I was, not let go, but contract ended at Sports Illustrated, and you think you grow up reading Sports Illustrated, you want to work for them the whole time, but it's tough because there's different budgets, there's different content plans, there's different things that are out of your control where you can't work with them anymore, and it just makes you hungrier. Like I'm gonna prove them wrong, and I think you need to have that dog attitude, and if you just start, that dog attitude is there, and you won't care about what is ahead of you. You're going to have that hunger from the start.
I love it. Last couple quick ones, Favi. Give me your favorite Uruguayo of all time. Who is it?
That's a tough one.
Soccer player, not persons, because I know it's Chocolate, the music group.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you love those dudes or what? Mayonesa.
It's funny. If you know other Uruguayans, it's going to be like, hey, I know a guy that was a part of that group. It's always that group. No,
I saw a hype video. Was it for the Copa America? And they had like one of the singers.
Yeah, Los Fatales. Yeah.
They had the dude, and he was doing like a bit of he was just chilling in Uruguay, like in Montevideo somewhere, and he was just doing like a video of like why it's so great to be Uruguayo. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? That's the guy that sings Mayonesa.
Right.
I was like, hell yeah.
But I would say Diego Forlan. I mean,
damn,
that World Cup 2010 was insane. And that run, I've never seen a better run from someone. And some people say it's the ball, but he mastered the ball, you know?
Yeah, so, that's part of the homework.
And he did his homework.
He understood the assignment, and he said yes.
And I catch myself, man, that was a crazy run by Diego Forlan.
Have you had it close?
No, that's the one interview that's still on my bucket list. Yeah.
You got a Loco Abreu, though.
Loco Abreu was cool for me. Yeah, that was my mom's favorite player, so that was cool. Cavani's another one that deserves a shout out because he's beloved in Uruguay, and I would love to interview him one day. Suarez is funny. Suarez, I went to his introductory press conference, and I didn't get to ask a question, and I went all the way from California to Miami for it.
I would have cried.
Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, I was there. You know, I was in that moment. That's the one MLS interview that's escaped me. I've covered Inter Miami like 10 times now, and not a single time I've been able to interview Suarez. You know, so that's still a bucket list one.
A defender, Diego Godin.
Well, you know, it's funny. Love. Actually, he should be my favorite because he's my cousin's best man at its wedding.
Oh,
yeah. So there is a family connection there. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Like
what about Galatasaray goalkeeper
Muslera?
Muslera. He's not there anymore. He's in Libertadores territory now.
Yeah. He was actually born in Argentina, and they kind of dual netted him over to Uruguay. So it's funny because we can never make good goalkeepers, and Argentina always has good goalkeepers, so we had to steal.
You guys got Rochet was the other one?
Right? Yeah, Rochet.
And then right now they got Mele, and that's in Monterrey. We know. We know. We're cooking. Hey, what y'all thought? Yeah. All right, last one. Give me an your favorite MLS player, and why is it Bo LaRue?
No, Bo's an awesome guy. He's a young superstar in the making, and that was a really cool interview with him. It was like talking to a friend, and that's why I loved that interview. Actually, that's a good interview too, because he was obviously a young guy, but he knew he was confident, and I love to see that, and it shows on the field too.
Shout out San Jose State, baby.
Yeah, let's exactly. Favorite MLS player. Okay, we'll go the easy. We'll not go the easy route. Of course, Messi and Son are out of it. I love Denis Bouanga. I think Bouanga brings style. Fan. No, I think Bouanga brings style, grit, passion.
He's cool.
He's very
cool.
He's very cool.
Which is what MLS needs. He's cool.
Aura. He's very cool.
He's got aura.
He definitely has
that
aura,
dog in him.
He's a personal photographer.
He has a personal photographer. I could tell.
Yeah, and he's on TikTok. He wears those Ray-Ban glasses. He's a content creator too, and he's made an effort to speak English, and I really appreciate that. And that's what it takes to be a star. Evander too. Shout out to Evander. I think Evander is a great star in this league too. And
his English is great.
Yeah,
what's going on?
He got way better.
Is that where
Portland?
He was at Portland.
No, but before he was at Copenhagen, or no, he was at
Michelin,
whatever.
Yeah, that's right. He was at Michelin. Yeah, but he's getting way better at English. And I think those two guys are really cool. Lucho Costa was cool too. I mean, Argentinian guy to pull off braids is cool.
Yeah, that's saucy.
That's
cool.
Mean,
that's De Paul. I don't know. But
exactly.
No, but he terrible time in Liga MX for that dude, but unfortunate. Atlas he did not.
Like MLS legend, I like Beckham. I think Beckham is so sweet to everybody on the backstage.
Yeah,
you can ask Beckham a question.
You've asked him?
Yeah.
What?
No, definitely. But I've also been denied by Beckham, and he delivers it with such class,
some grace. It's that posh.
I don't know what it is, but David Beckham, like. I'm a straight dude, but I'll be like, oh, like you said no, but it's okay.
He rejected me, but he did it so nicely.
He does. He's Sir David Beckham.
Then you got to go back to your boss and be like, why didn't you get anything?
Yeah, exactly. No,
sorry,
but I mean, yeah, Beckham. He treats everybody backstage like it's his team or it's. Was such. I remember this one thing for Leagues Cup final. He was waiting in the tunnel for every single Sounders player to congratulate them, and I thought, wow, this guy's won everything. Sir David Beckham, he has a team. He has Messi on his team, but he made sure to congratulate every single Sounders player and staff that walked through that tunnel.
Beautiful. We love the sportsmanship. We love that. We love that. All right, Favi. Thank you for coming. It's been a whole time here. It's been amazing. We do like to end it by giving you some time to give people an insight into anything that you're working on, anything in the future, plug anything you would like, any philanthropic, whatever you want. Get into it. What do you got for us?
Yeah, look, there's gonna be haters no matter what, and the faster you realize that they help your algorithm, the better you'll be.
Let's go. Those are wise words, baby. Let's go. You're cooking.
So honestly, let them hate, because they're just gonna help you out.
Hell yeah. Well, we do have a present for you.
What?
If you want to get him un scarf, mi Cesar. That's one of them. I don't have the other present. I'll clip it with a video if you want to take it.
What? Let's go. Thank you. Woo.
Thank you so much for coming on the pod.
No, this is awesome. What? I think it's 2.
Oh, damn. Just take one. Sorry.
It's one. No worries.
We only got budget for one.
Yeah, it's cool. This is awesome. No, this is such a nice scarf.
No, yeah.
Look at that. Bam.
Take it out to New York.
Yeah, for sure.
Share the way of Gol Sided over there with people. But no, we appreciate you for coming on the pod.
Oh, thank you.
Sharing all of that insight. We're wishing you the best in New York.
Yeah,
we're definitely going to be tuned in to everything of value that you got to say on social media. And yeah, thank you for spending some time with us today.
No, I appreciate it. It's been something I've been wishing to do, honestly.
Yeah,
it's the podcast. Yeah. It's the podcast that I'm like, man, I need to do this. I need to do this. Like, this is one that's escaped me for so many years, and I feel bad, but I'm glad I got to do it right before New York.
We had to squeeze it in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We have a lot more of these Sunday League series interviews coming for you guys, and we thank you guys for tuning in. Peace everyone.